Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Fitscope. My name's Alessandra. We're going to go through a 50-minute yoga sequence together. So if you've been joining me the last couple of classes, I'm moving from the base to the crown. So I wanted to work on today the third chakra. It's your solar plexus chakra, which is usually located between your belly button and your ribs. So that kind of like really your center, like your true center. So this is where you house like your confidence and your ability to manifest what you want in your life. Such an important thing to keep in balance, especially, you know, it's still the beginning of the year. So just manifesting what we want in this life. So that means more core stuff, right? So building that heat in here, working on breath stuff. So heat, core, breath, and maybe some twists as well. So I would recommend, you know, since I do want to maybe open up this center, which is going to open up your chest, but also open up your rib cage a little bit, have a strap handy perhaps, and 2 blocks. I also like to sit up on a blanket, which I'm sitting up on now. Don't feel discouraged if you don't have these props. You can make do without them. It's just nice to have them. You can find things in your house that replicate them if you don't have these yoga props. So we're actually going to start sitting. So I like to sit up on a blanket. If you feel like there's tightness in your frontal hips when you sit upright, then I would recommend propping yourself up on something. And just cross-legged, whatever feels comfortable. I usually do like this variation. You can just have the shins crossed if you'd like. You can even sit on your shins like this if that feels okay. Whatever feels best for you to sit up tall. If it feels okay, please have the eyes closed. So bring the eyes to close if that feels comfortable for you. Have the palms, let's have them face down on your thighs, please. Just sit up tall. So just finding your seat to begin. So you're not in your tailbone, right? You're in your sit bones. So can you lift up through the low back and through the low belly and just be nice and tall on your sit bones. Just visualizing the spine growing nice and tall from the root of your sit bones. And since we did move through those first 2 chakras, you can imagine like your root chakra, that very base of your spine. Just imagine feeling rooted through there. Moving up to your sacral chakra. It's located like 2 inches below the navel, just low belly. Feel it strong, vibrant. And then moving up to just 2 inches above your navel, just right around your actual like solar plexus of your rib cage. This is the area we're gonna try to address today. Just as you are, just knowing that you are absolutely enough and that you can manifest absolutely anything that you want. And that ability is housed in this part of your body. Bring your hands onto your body. So one hand can be on your low belly, one hand on your rib cage. Just starting to feel the breath move in the hands. As you feel the breath move underneath your hands, just start to develop an ujjayi breath. The base of the throat breath comes in and out through your nose. Base of the throat. Similar breath you would use to fog up a pair of glasses, but your mouth is closed. Use this breath to start to warm up the body, build heat. That sacral, this solar plexus chakra is usually symbolized as like fire or a sun. So it's just building heat in that area. Then bring your hands on your sides, so on your ribs, so really the sides of your ribs, and I want you to feel an expansion. So you can grab on to the ribs so that the fingertips are a little bit in the front and the thumbs are a little bit in the back, so you have a good hold on the rib cage. And I want you to breathe from the front to the sides to the back into your hands. And exhale. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, all dimensions. And exhale with that ujjayi breath, deep base of the throat breath, a couple more times. And exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Deepest breaths ever. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, feeling that solar plexus expand. Last time. And exhale. Great. You can release your hands. Bring your hands in prayer at your heart. You can even bring that prayer a little lower, like by your solar plexus. Bow your head, lift your chest. Manifesting mentally what you want to manifest in your life, knowing that you are worth it and capable of anything. Great. Setting your intention for this 40 minutes that we have together. You can start to come off of whatever blanket you were on. If you were on it, you can come onto all fours, please. All fours. Wrists under the shoulders, fingers are spread wide, knees under the hips. A couple of cat-cows. Again, expanding the rib cage here. So inhale, heart forward, belly towards the mat. Exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, heart forward, belly to the floor. Exhale, round. Couple more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And find a neutral position. Start to do circles with the rib cage. So it's like you have a hula hoop around your rib cage and you want to like trace the ribs on the inside of that hula hoop. So you're just going in circles here, just moving the rib cage, trying to move it independently from the rest of your body. Just warming up the spine, moving through that center. And then switch the direction of your circles, a couple more in the other direction, trying to get full range of motion up to the ceiling, out to the side, feeling like the space between your ribs, and down to the floor. And we'll do one more. And then find a neutral position here. So thinking of chest reaching forward, low belly lifting. Then extend both legs back behind you for a moment. So both legs back behind you. You're in plank pose, top of a push-up, shoulders over your wrists. So part of getting that fire in the belly is working through the core. So we are going to do a good amount of core work today. Inner thighs draw up to the sky, low belly lifts, chest forward. Press into your hands. Like your body could lift up to the ceiling, but you're pressing down through the hands. So there's a buoyancy there. You're not collapsing in the shoulders, you're pressing up. Holding here, option to bring the knees down to make this a little more accessible. You're pressing through all 10 fingers. And then lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So shortening the stance a little bit, downward facing dog. So maybe pedaling out the feet one at a time. If this is your first down dog, or if this pose is still new to you, just know that it's gonna feel awkward for the first couple of times. It's just how it goes. This is not a natural position, very much so. You're pressing through the hands. You're lifting your hips up and back to the ceiling. Little bend in your knees to really lengthen your tailbone back. Little lift of your low belly. Then with a nice long spine, maybe you start to melt the heels down to the mat. And then shift forward to plank pose, top of a push-up, shoulders over your wrists, lengthening your stance if you need to. Let's do 3 push-ups here. So exhale, shift to your tippy toes, lower down, bend at the elbows. Inhale, press yourself back up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times. These are chaturangas, like yoga push-ups. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, shift forward, maybe knees, chest, chin, or one piece you lower down. Elbows stay to the height of your shoulders. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, down dog. Let's do that 1 more time, starting to build that fire, that heat. Shift forward, plank pose. Exhale, shift forward, tippy toes, and lower down, chaturanga. Let's hover for a breath. And exhale, lower it all the way down. Coming onto the tops of your feet. Hands by your floating ribs. Inhale, peel head and chest, low cobra. That solar plexus area in contact with the floor. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, peel head and chest, elbows back, shoulders back, lift up. And exhale, bring it down. Make sure your wrists are under your elbows. You're coming into the proper alignment for upward facing dog if you'd like to add that. So inhale, peel head and chest. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you press into the hands and come into upward facing dog. So your wrists are under your shoulders. Your low belly's lifting. Chest forward and up. Inner thighs draw up to the sky. And again, you're not collapsing the shoulders. You're lifting up. You're just on the tops of your feet and your hands. If there was a teensy camera, like right at the level of my mat, there's space for my thighs. And exhale, lift, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Holding here. And walk your hands back to meet your feet, hang in a forward fold. Bring your feet as wide as the mat, coming into a couple of twists here. So you can take a little bend in your knees if that feels better for your low back. See if you can come up halfway to a flat back. Maybe your hands are on blocks. If your hands don't touch the floor comfortably, bring them on blocks or on books or something. Coming up to a flat back here. Cross your left hand to your right leg, left hand to your right leg. So wherever it needs to be, maybe it's on the outside of the thigh, outside of the shin, outside of the ankle. But I want your spine to feel like it's nice and long. Bring your right hand to your low back, making sure your low back stays even. Open up the chest towards the right, so twisting here. Reaching the right arm up to the sky. And exhale, bring it down. Inhale up halfway, heart lengthens forward. Again, maybe fingers are on blocks. Then cross the right hand over to the left leg, wherever it comfortably goes, so you're pretty long in the spine still. Then bring your left hand to your low back, making sure that it stays nice and even. Lengthen heart forward and then revolve towards the left. Maybe reaching the left arm up to the sky. The weight in your feet is a little more in the front of the foot, and the weight is even between your feet. And exhale, bring it down. Walk yourself back to downward facing dog. Please, walking back to downward facing dog. Just holding here a couple of breaths. All right, then gaze between the hands. Step up to that space. So you're stepping towards the front edge of your mat. Feet are parallel to one another, hips distance. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches forward. Exhale, forward folds. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, heart reaches forward, flat back, wherever your fingertips need to be. They're resting on something, whether it's the floor, the shins, or your thighs. They rest on something and your spine feels nice and long. And again, the ribs don't collapse down. Bring them into the body. Get strong in that center. And exhale, forward fold. Last time, inhale up halfway, heart reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Take a bend in your knees, reach through the arms, Utkatasana, chair pose. Chair pose here, holding for a couple of breaths. So what better pose to symbolize this like center of energy than chair pose? Your hips are reaching down as your fingertips reach forward. All this energy has to come from your center and shoot out through the fingertips and through the hips. So your weight is all the way in the heels. Yes, your legs are working a lot, but your low belly's lifting, your ribs stay in, your core is working a lot too. Center of gravity, core. Couple more breaths, you got this. The reason it's called a core, it's because it's your center, right? It's not just your abdominals, it's your back body too, your side body. Then straighten through the legs, hands come to your heart. Great. Let's flow through a couple of things here, just regular sun salutations. So inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches forward. And exhale, plant the hands, step it back, lower down to the mat. Knees, chest, chin, or one piece, lower down. Back bend of your choice, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, hold. At the bottom of your next exhale, gaze between the hands. Step up to that space. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle the arms up, reach up, gaze up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Building that fire, that heat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, lower down, chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, or one piece. Back bend, low cobra, or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold. And at the bottom of your next exhale, gaze between the hands, step up to that space. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle the arms up, reach up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Last time like that. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, heart reaches. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, lower down to the mat. Back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Foot between the hands. Gently bring the back knee to the mat. So just going to turn this into a twist, but I want to make it accessible here. So the back knee can come to the mat. Maybe your hands are on blocks if your fingertips don't comfortably touch the floor here. And keep your left hand where it is. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. So just a twist here. I want your inner thighs to kind of scissor towards one another. That's going to make the pelvis nice and stable and neutral. It's just introducing this twist, then maybe making it a little bigger in a moment. Maybe you curl the back toes under and straighten the back leg. Open twist. And then bring the hand down. Spin the back heel to the mat. Back heel spins to the mat. Heel to heel alignment to start. Inhale, reach the arms up. Warrior one. Just using this as a transition, bring the hands to your heart. Move that right foot over to the left so your heel to arch in one line. Opening the arms out to the sides for warrior two. Turning this into side angle pose. This pose requires a lot of this center here, so reach through the right fingertips. Couple of options. Forearm comes onto the leg, left arm lifts up. Maybe you bring the hand to the inner foot or the outer foot. Maybe it's on a block if you kind of want to do something between the two. Then this top arm, reach it in front of you and then up again, so it's in line with your cheek. So bicep in line with your ear. So chest is nice and open to the side. But your right hip is still cutting back. Low belly lifts. So there is a little bit of like a twist, right? Your legs, the energy of your legs towards the front edge of your mat, chest open to the side. Stay strong in your legs, press through the feet. Can you stay low in that bent knee? Bring yourself back up, warrior two. And then circle the arms down, move that prop out of the way if you used it, move through your vinyasa, which means usually that chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, or one piece. Back bend, low cobra, or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Gently bring the back knee to the mat to start. Fingertips on the floor, maybe on blocks. Chest reaches forward a little bit. Keep your right hand where it is underneath the shoulder and reach your left arm up to the sky. So a little scissoring action of the thighs just to keep the hips nice and even. You're pressing through that front heel, chest opening to the side. And then maybe you curl the back toes under. This is optional, and you straighten through the back leg. So you're just on your feet now. Inner thighs drawing back. The inner thigh draws up to the sky on the leg back behind you. Great, and bring the hand down. Spin the back heel to the mat so those back toes angle in a little bit. Heel to start. Inhale, reach the arms up, warrior one. Just using this as a transition, bring your hands to your heart. Move that foot over to the right. Heel to arch in one line. Open the arms out to the sides, warrior two. So these external poses, as we call them, there's a teensy twist here, right? Your hips are not trying to square to the side of your mat. Your legs, the attention of your legs, your right hip is even moving towards the front edge of your mat, like where those left toes are pointing. And your chest is opening to the side. Nice. Yeah, it's that little bit of a twist. Just activates that whole center. And turning this into Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. So reach through the left fingertips. Option to bring the forearm to the leg. Just stay here. Right arm reaches up. Maybe you bring those right fingertips to the inside or the outside of the foot. Maybe it's on a block. So the first side I used a block on the outside of the foot. So I'll do the same thing on the second side. And if you feel like a pulling in your groin area, maybe the stance is a little too long, you can shorten the stance a little bit if you need. Then this top arm, bring it down and then back up, just so the rotation of your shoulder is correct here. And then your bicep comes in line with your face. Shoulder away from the ear. Are you pressing through the front heel of that foot? Pinky edge of your fingertips down. Press through the feet. I dare you to stay low in that front leg. Just stay low. Awesome. And bring the hands down to frame the foot. Move that block out of the way if you used it. Move through your vinyasa to down dog. So chaturanga lowers you down. Back bend. Exhale, down dog. Hold. Getting fiery in that center. See if we can turn this into a bigger twist. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. Stay on the ball of your back foot. It's going to challenge your balance. It's okay. Stay on the ball of that back foot. Press through that front heel. You can take a little bend in that back knee that might help with balance, and reach the arms straight up to the sky for crescent pose. So again, little bend in the back knee might be helpful, right? To tilt your pelvis up. Frontal hip points lift. Maybe you start to straighten through that back leg and descend a little more in the front knee. No pinching in the low back, no discomfort there. Low belly's lifting. And see if we can turn this into a twist. Bring your hands to your heart. Reach your heart forward. Can you hook the elbow, the left elbow, to the outside of the right leg? If that's not quite happening, you can just do what we did the first time. So fingertips on the floor, turn this into an open twist. If not, indulge in that big twist here. Can you think of a little back bend in the upper back here, like you want your hands to be at the center of your chest? Inner thighs drawing towards one another. How much longer? I know. We're good at bringing the hands back down now. Awesome. And switch sides, moving through your vinyasa between sides. So lowering down chaturanga. Back bend, opening up through the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, place that foot between the hands. So bringing some space between your feet, right? Hips distance. That'll help with the balance. Little bend in the back knee might be helpful. Press through the front heel, reach the arms straight up for crescent pose. So the platform is smaller now on the back foot, so that's why you're a little wobbly maybe. Little bend in the back knee, lift. So that little bend exactly gives you the ability to lift your frontal hip points. And maybe from that lift, you start to straighten through the back leg. Maybe from that straightened back leg, you bend a little lower in the front knee. Bring your hands to your heart. Exhale, heart reaches forward. Maybe hooking the right elbow to the outside of the leg. If that happens pretty accessibly, you know, like if it's too much of a reach and you're really yanking yourself into something, just bring the hand down underneath the shoulder. Turn this into that open twist that we did a moment ago. If not, coming into that prayer pose with the hands. Inner thigh draws up on the back leg. Low belly's lifting. You're revolving your chest towards the side. Two more breaths here. You got this. If you're shaking, if you're sweating, whatever it is, that solar plexus getting strong, vibrant. And exhale, bring the hands down. Move through your vinyasa to downward facing dog. Holding down dog, couple of breaths. All right, for a brief moment, let's take a child's pose. Just to take a little break before we get into some more core stuff. Forehead to the mat. Maybe your arms are down by your sides with your palms face up, if that feels okay to do. Holding here. Maybe with the knees wider than your hips, you can feel your rib cage expand against your thighs, just feeling that center. All right. Bring your arms out in front of you again. As you're ready, come onto all fours. Then come into plank pose. So both legs straight back behind you. You're coming into plank pose. So coming into side plank. Not everyone's favorite pose, but it's a really good one. It's good for your side body. It's also really good for your spine, good for your whole core. And start with the left side opening. So turn onto the outer edge of your left foot. Outer edge of your left foot. I want your left foot to be in line with your wrist. Then stack your feet. See if you can stack your feet, truly stack your feet. So you can start on your fingertips. Then you can bring your hand onto your hip if that helps with balance. Then maybe reach your right arm up to the sky. For a second, if you can, gaze at your hips. Is that top hip kind of moving back in space, or are your hips truly square one on the other? And again, you're not collapsing in that standing shoulder. There's a lot of weight in the shoulder, so be mindful that you're pressing into the floor with the hand and reaching up with the top arm. 2 more breaths. You got this. I know. It's a lot. And exhale, bring the hand down. Let's do the other side. You got this. Bring your feet hips distance to start. Shoulders over your wrists. Turn onto the outer edge of your right foot. Outer edge of your right foot. Your foot bisects that wrist, and then stack your feet. See if you can stack your feet. You're on your fingertips to start, then reach the arm. You can start with the hand at the hip, then reach it up to the sky. And I didn't mention this on the first side, but if you want to bring a knee down, like maybe the front foot comes in front of the leg on the floor, or the bottom knee can come to the floor. If you want to modify this so you can hold it for a little longer, then do that. Pressing into the hand, you're not collapsing in the shoulder, your hips are square. And exhale, bring the hand down. Lift hips up and back to downward facing dog. Hopefully down dog starting to feel a little more restful. Great. Take another brief child's pose before we do a little more stuff. Bring your forehead down, maybe arms down by your sides if that feels okay. All right. Coming onto all fours again. So now we're going to come into forearm plank, because you can, because you will. It's okay. We got this. So interlace your hands out in front of you. Tuck the baby finger under. Just starting with the interlace, just because there's usually a tendency for the forearms to kind of splay out to the sides. So let's just keep this stable this way. And extend your legs back behind you. Your shoulders are under your or over your elbows. Extending those legs back behind you. So you can keep your hands at an angle, your arms at an angle. So again, there's like a buoyancy in my body. I'm not collapsing in the shoulders. Pressing up, yes. Plant your right hand down. Your forearm is going to stay at a diagonal. It's going to help with the shoulder with opening up to the side. So coming onto the outer edge of your right foot, stack your feet. You can start on your left fingertips. Then bring your hand onto your hip if that feels okay. Then reach that arm up to the sky if that feels okay. You're not collapsing in that shoulder, right? You're pressing through the forearm. This one feels maybe a little more difficult because you're closer to the floor. You're like center, like you're gravitationally pulled to the floor a little bit more. Just hold here, you got this. Turn that top palm to face the front, reach it up and over, maybe lift the hips a little bit more. Then bring that arm back up to the sky. Bring it down, forearm plank. Let's do the other side, you got this. Plant the left hand, the forearm is at a diagonal here. That's going to help the shoulder. Come onto the outer edge of your left foot. That foot bisecting the elbow. Stack your feet. You're on your fingertips to start. Maybe hand to your hip. Not collapsing in that shoulder. Maybe right arm reaches up to the sky. You're truly stacking your feet. Maybe bottom knee to the floor to modify. And turn this top palm to face forward, reach it up and over, maybe lift the hips a little more. Bring that arm back up. Bring it to forearm plank again. Interlace your hands out in front of you. Walk your feet in towards your elbows for dolphin pose. I know we're working hard. Big pose for your shoulders, for your chest. Little bend in your knees, lift those hips up and back. Ribs in the body. Then take another child's pose, please. Bring your arms out in front of you if they're not already, coming up to sitting on your shins. Then turn around. So you're on your seat. Want your hands to be back behind your thighs. You're going to lean back a little bit, lift your feet. Boat pose. Again, not everyone's favorite. It's not my favorite either because my hip flexors are really tight usually. Even though I do a lot of yoga, it's just what happens. So lengthening up through the chest, lengthening up through the spine, trying to bring the shins parallel to the mat. Mine aren't often, it's fine. Maybe you release the legs and you extend the arms out in front of you. So I want you to think you're not on your tailbone and you're not on your sit bone. It's like that space between the two. This is where my hip flexors start to turn on. That might be your reality or it might not be. So this is just boat pose, Navasana. Leaning back, hopefully feeling some fire in that belly, in that center that we're trying to target today. Then I want you to lower down to Ardha Navasana, half boat pose. So the legs are lifted, the legs stay lifted. I'm just on my low back here. So whole body lifted except for the low back. Inhale, lift it up, Navasana. Exhale, lower down, Ardha Navasana. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale like that canoe shape. Inhale, lift it up. Let's do 2 more. You got it in you, you got it. Exhale. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale. Inhale, bring it up one last time. Let's hold. I know. It's a lot. And exhale, Ardha Navasana. Hold. Hug your knees into your chest, relax down. We did a lot of work in not a little time, so just giving yourself a moment. All right. Keep your right knee hugging in, extend the left leg. Actually take a bend in your left knee, then extend that right leg up to the sky. So the left foot is planted on the mat. Turn that leg out 45 degrees and then cross it over the left thigh. So you're crossing the right foot over the left thigh, and that foot is flexed on the right foot. You can gently maybe press the knee away from your chest, and you feel plenty in the hip here. If you want to feel more, you can thread the needle. So you're interlacing your hands behind your left thigh, going through that triangular space. Release the interlace that you have, but keep the leg crossed. Bring your arms out to the sides and just gently drop your legs towards the left. So a twist with the added weight of the leg. And gently bring it back to center. Uncross the foot for a moment. Just hug the left knee in, extending the right leg onto the mat. Then plant the right foot onto the mat so the knee is bent. Extend the left leg out to the or up to the ceiling. Turn that leg out 45 degrees and then cross the ankle over the thigh. So left foot is flexed. And one side might be different from the other. Just gently press that left knee away from your chest. Maybe that's plenty. There's no sensation in your knees and your foot is flexed. Maybe you inhale the right knee up to your chest. Interlace your hands behind the thigh. There can still be a little bit of a pressing of the left arm into the left leg, just to encourage that knee to open and that hip to open. Gently release the interlace that you have, bringing the foot flat on the mat. You can keep the leg crossed, and the arms come out to the sides. Just gently drop those legs towards the right. It's just a twist with the added weight of the leg. Gently bring that back to center. You can uncross the foot now. Bring both feet flat on the mat. Make sure your heels are underneath your knees. Just reach for the backs of your heels. Just barely graze them. And that'll be the good distance to have. Shoulders away from your ears. Forearms lift away from the mat. Let's do a couple of bridge poses here. Just opening up through the chest, opening up through that center, and stretching through the front body after that abdominal work that we did. Inhale. Hips lift up to the sky. Inner thighs draw down, inner foot is heavy. Maybe you interlace your hands back behind you. Scooch the flesh of your shoulders under your body, whether you interlaced or not. Press through the arms, lift the chest up. There's space for the front of your neck. Feeling that opening. Exhale, release the interlace if you have it, and vertebra by vertebra, bring yourself down to the mat. We'll do that again. Arms down by your sides, forearms lift up to the sky. Inhale, lift the hips up to the sky. And interlace the hands back behind you if you can. Scooch the flesh of your shoulders under the body, switching the interlace if you had it the first time. Inner thighs draw down. Can you release your sitting muscles? Because you're lifting your low belly a lot. So even though we're opening up through the chest, there's so much strength in your low belly, just getting that center fired up. Gently release the interlace. Vertebra by vertebra, bring yourself down to the mat. Just recover here. You can bring your hands onto your belly. Same way we started, but lying down now. One hand on your rib cage, like low ribs. One hand on your low belly, just feeling that center. Feeling your hands expand with the breath. One more thing, since we have time, just reach your left arm up to the sky, rock to your side, and prop yourself up. I want you to come onto your belly for a moment. We did this in the last class that I taught, but it's such a good pose. You can come onto your belly, just a couple of back bends on the belly here. So this is such an immediate connection with the earth, right, of your belly. So we'll start just with one Shalabhasana, so locust pose. Lift head and chest. Back of the neck is long. Your arms stay down by your sides and your legs stay down to start. Kneecaps lift, low belly lifts. Maybe then you reach the arms up just to the height of the shoulders. Maybe you lift the legs up, inner thighs drawing up to the sky. And you're pretty warm, so maybe arms come out to the sides. You make this a little more challenging. Maybe palms face forward and you reach those forward, full locust pose. Maybe the arms come in line with your ears, inner thighs draw up, lift everything up, and exhale, bring it down. Arms down by your sides, you can rest your head to one side. And then one Dhanurasana, just to see. So bend your knees, maybe reach back for the tops of your feet, if that's available. If not, you do exactly what we just did, locust pose, lifting head and chest, maybe arms, maybe legs. If not, grab onto the tops of your feet. Press your feet back to lift your chest up. Lift your legs up. Inner thighs draw up. Your low back is happy here. You're pressing your feet away, out of your hands, but your hands won't let up. Gently release that. Rest your head to one side. It's also such an invigorating pose. Bring yourself up onto all fours, then turn yourself around again, coming onto your back. Hugging the knees in. One last twist before we rest. Scooch your hips towards the right, drop the legs towards the left. Bring those knees back to center, centering up the hips. Move those hips towards the left, drop the knees to the right. Gently bring those knees back to center. Just hugging the knees into your chest. One last time. And just extend the legs out onto the mat for Savasana, corpse pose. Your feet can be as wide as the mat, your arms down by your sides, palms face up, shoulders away from your ears. See if you can have the eyes closed. Just take a couple of very long breaths here. So inhale, hold it at the top. Exhale out your mouth. And again, inhale, hold it at the top. Exhale out your mouth. And one last time, just cleansing breaths. Expanding through all sides. And exhale. Just transitioning from movement to stillness. Begin to lengthen your breath. Bring movement back to the body, moving fingers and toes. Reach your arms up and back behind you, extending through the feet as well. Full body stretch. Keep your arms reaching up and back as you draw your knees in towards your chest. Gently rock to your left side. Left side, using your left arm as a pillow, your right hand can rest on the floor in front of your chest. Just prop yourself up to a comfortable seat. So same way we started, maybe on a blanket on your shins, crossed shins, maybe like a half lotus position, whatever feels best for you. Palms face down on your thighs, sitting up tall. Just sitting in what this practice expressed to you and offered you. Noticing how this posture that you're sitting in might feel very different from when you first showed up today. Bring your hands to your heart, bow your head, lift your chest. Just a deep bow into yourself. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaste.